All right, welcome. So in this case, what I have is y equals 5x squared minus 4/5 x. And what I want to do in this expression, I want to solve. So the first thing we need to do is, of course, set it equal to 0. Because we can't use our inverse operations because we have an x squared and a 4/5 x. So therefore, we have a quadratic and a linear term. So we just can't isolate the variables or even combine them to one variable. So I need to apply factoring, and I want to apply, the GCF. And a lot of times looking at the GCFs to see, what do they have in common that we can factor out? Well, you can see they both have a 5, so a common thing would be, hey, let's factor out the 5. But the problem is there's a 5 in the numerator and here's a 5 in the denominator. Now, while we still can do that, we want to be able to factor out, our variable. We want to be able to factor out an integer, factor and not really make this more complicated than it really has to be. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm actually just not going to factor out the 5, but I can factor out this common variable factor of x. So by doing that, I'll obtain x times x squared minus 4/5. All right? And this way, I'll still be able to, that's still a 5, right? Sorry about that. And you can always check your answer again by applying distributive property to make sure it still works. That's a 5x. Sorry about that. So now I have a product equal to 0. So now I can apply the 0 product property by setting each of my terms equal to 0. So then I have 5x minus 4/5 equals 0. Now I can go ahead and solve. Well, I don't need to do anything here. X already equals 0. Here, I'll just add 4/5 to both sides. And therefore, I have 5x equals 4/5. And now, when I divide by 5 on both sides, and if you were to factor out the 5 either way, in the beginning, you would have got this exact same answer anyways. But what am I doing? I'm already thinking of the answer. When I divide by 5, so 4/5 divided by 5, to think about that, remember when you're dividing, when you have this fraction, what we can do is multiply by the reciprocal. Make sure you do that on the top and the bottom. Well, any number multiplied by the reciprocal is 1. 4/5 times 1/5 is going to be 4/25. That divides to 1, so we have x equals 4/25. And x equals 0. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you solve your quadratic by factoring out the GCF. Thanks.